We're live on a Friday. It's ForceCenter. We always come crashing in, and that's an okay thing. Hi, everybody. Hi, Joseph.
Hello,
it's my first time talking to you in a while.
It's been like 2 weeks. It's been really weird because I've been like, something doesn't feel right. There's a disturbance, and it's having not seen you or Jennifer or talked about the Force enough.
But we're here to talk about the Force. It's a ForceCenter Live here on a spooky edition, Spooky Star Wars. We got a poll up. We want you to participate in the poll. That's not the only answers. We asked what's the scariest moment in Star Wars, spookiest moment, scariest moment, whatever you want to say. Here's what I put up, Joseph. Anakin burns on Mustafar.
Ooh, scary.
Palpatine gets unlimited power, which, I've told that story to those kids behind me screaming and crying at the Cinerama Dome.
And politically frightening.
Yeah. Political frightening. Brain worms in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And right now, the leader in the poll, 17 votes. Yoda says, "You will be. You will be," which still frightens me.
Yes, it is very, very scary. That's that emotional one of like, oh, damn, the Muppets mad at us. The
Muppets mad at us.
Yep.
Everyone checking in here, and Joseph's got his regal. Yeah, Joseph's regal background is here. Amaranth is here.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with this one from. There you. Oh, the cape is here for Halloween. Brady says the scariest moment in Star Wars: Luke finding out he kissed his sister. Yeah, it's all part of it.
I wonder if I'm sure it would have surfaced if there was a deleted take or a blooper, but I wonder if there was any moment where you ever like, somehow I knew. I've always known. I always knew.
Yeah, could be. We are here to talk to all of you. We'll be taking calls, live calls from our Patreon supporters. The link should be live on Patreon now, if my scheduled correctly. But I do believe it's there. So I'll be taking calls. A lot of fun and catching up. We'll do a big Star Wars life adventure on our next episode, Joseph. But you're back in California, right?
Yes, I'm back here in LA for like a week and a half, and then back to Minnesota to shoot the film.
This is it.
This
is it.
An incredible adventure. Yes, very, very, very lucky to have any chance at being able to do it, and I'll have more thoughts on that about everything it takes to be able to get to do a film. So no doubt about it, extremely lucky, but it's also extremely stressful, and every possible thing that could be a problem becomes a problem. So it has been a harrowing time as well as a fun, lucky time.
Including it seems like your sound just went up.
Oh, great.
It's that kind of day.
Am I back?
Nope,
Can you
not
hear
yet.
me?
That was weird. All right, we'll figure this out. Don't worry. We're live.
How about now?
Do it live. No.
All right.
Let me try to remove you and then bring you back.
Okay. Is it StreamYard or my microphone?
You can hear him. Oh, I can't hear you.
Oh, okay.
That's great.
This is a scary live stream already. Ken knows what I say enough to read my lips. You could just read my lips, Ken. No, I can't hear Ken. Okay. I can't hear you now. This is extremely painful on a deep emotional level. I just want to hear what my friend Ken has to say. Oh, so I'm going to open a beer, everybody. If you can hear me, let me know that you can hear me opening this beer. This, I think, should take over as the scariest thing that has ever happened in Star Wars. It's a fun visual effect of Ken looking like he's just talking to himself, just grumbling at all the little gremlins. Ah! This is awful. This is so painful. It's awful. I don't I'll look at this. I am sending secret messages to Ken. He'll need to use his decoder ring. I have sent a secret message to Ken that perhaps will help us resolve the problem. Nope. Yeah, we need subtitles. Oh, Ken has left the stream, but I think he will be back in just a moment. And in meanwhile, I will read some of your wonderful comments. Technology 1, Napzok 0. I think Palpatine's spirit is haunting us. Unlimited mic problems. Everything was going fine until it wasn't. The beer I'm drinking, everybody, is I do this dubious thing where I sometimes buy beers just based on the name, and I got this Allagash Haunted House. Ooh, the whole beer tastes like ghosts who want you to leave. I was very nervous about buying it, but it turns out it's delicious. Anyway, got some nice comments and thoughts coming in from all of you. Very, very appreciated. Amrat says, let's see if we can play a game where Ken swears and we try to guess what he's saying. All right, Ken, can we hear you? Oh, he looks so sad. He's not even speaking. He just looks sad. He's frozen in sadness. This is terrible. Should we Ken, can you hear me? Ken, okay. Should we? Then I can just answer. We'll do the whole stream when I ask you yes or no questions. Do we need to just start the stream over? Do we need to stop it and do a new link? Yes or maybe. Oh, wait 1 second. Okay. This is like a horrible game of charades with no rules. Turn it off, blow into it, and turn it back on again, says Andrew Knab. Very good one. Oh, Bill Rudd says opening up a FML by Stone, which feels appropriate. Indeed it does. Indeed it does. The food in my beard, who always gives me excellent food and drink advice, says about my haunted house, a beer, that anything from Allagash is a safe purchase. Excellent. This feels awful to just be ignoring Ken. I feel like I at least want to put up like a little screen grabs of what I think he's saying, like it's an old silent film. Let's see if Ken has sent me any secret messages in the private chat. He has not. Might have to restart, he says. Yes, just tell me what to do, Ken. Actually, you keep going, says Ken. It's very supportive. Hopefully Ken will be back someday. This is truly a nightmare. Anyway, some Keystone Cops music would be great. The setup was working just fine for the blathering last night. Weird. Yeah, I don't know what kind of gremlins have got in here, but it's awful. Awful. Scrolling back for some of these any thoughts or comments you guys have. Yep, that's a good one. Ken did some wordplay earlier. This is his punishment. I'm glad for Ken's sake that he's out of the live stream for that. That would torture his soul, as we all know very much. This has no right to be so entertaining. Still, where is Pink Shorts Boom Guy when you need him? I think there's an action figure of him, at least a custom, that I definitely would like to get sometime. If nothing else happens here, if Ken cannot make it back, I will do some unboxing. A couple of you have been having making some nice comments about some of the film stuff. I have been talking for over a year now about the short horror film that we made called The Nightmare Adorable, that Ken was an actor in, did a great job. Our friend Hal Lublin, friend of the show, was in it. Amy Vorpal also starred. And after having a year-long festival run that went well, we got into 20 festivals, won 3 awards. The Nightmare Adorable is now free to watch on YouTube for the whole world. I can tell that some ForceCenter friends watched it because I recognize some of your names in the comments. Thank you so much for the kind comments. And if you want to go check it out, the link to it is right there on the front of my website. I can also put the link in the chat, I suppose, which I will work on doing while we see if Ken can return to the beautiful land of audio, which would be great.
What about now?
Oh my God! Yay!
So I got to do an edit. Okay. Welcome to ForceCenter. The audio version of this episode begins right now with no issues. You had no idea what happened. All right. It was just, we had, like I heard you say, I just finished a 2-hour Anytime broadcast this morning. It was live on the Blathering. Sometimes.
No problems at all, huh?
Yeah. No problems at all. The computer just needed it. The dead speak. I'm back. Anyways, you were just talking about your film, dropping a link maybe in chat. I apologize for everything here today.
Oh no, I was the one who dropped audio first on your end.
It was probably me. Yeah. All right.
Who knows?
We're all
it
fine
might just
here
be
now.
Stress.
It could be. You're having a tremendously fun yet stressful time, and I've got one of the busiest days of my life today. So maybe all that energy.
Yeah.
Right down into the computer.
It went right down into the guts of the computer. Is it for public consumption? What's making your day so busy?
Just busy, work. Anytime this morning, we always do on Friday mornings. I got a birthday dinner tonight. I got to stop by, and then I have a big show at Flappers tonight. I haven't been booked at Flappers for about a month, and they put me in a big show, main room. Carol Lafer, one of my favorite comics over decades, who the character of Lane Bennis was created on Seinfeld. She and Jimmy Brogan kind of headline, and I'm just it's a go. So that might be my energy going into it.
Okay, got it. Very, very good. Well, yeah, so I put the link to The Nightmare Adorable in the chat. If you want to check it out, that would be absolutely great. Somebody else was asking about how the film is going. It's going real well. It's so many moving pieces and so many fires to put out all the time. Every Wikipedia page you've ever read, every documentary you've ever read where a director is hunched over and stressed, thinking one day this is going to fall apart and the next day everything's great. Those are all true, it turns out. Very, very true.
Are you understanding even more than you already did George Lucas's medical emergency during the making of A New Hope? Is that what's going on?
I really am, because it really is just it's just everything is a battle between time and money and resources, and one day everything looks great, and the next day everything's falling apart, and keeping up with that amount of flexibility while also needing to do a good job emotionally and financially, right?
Yeah.
And just the sheer volume of work means I just don't have as much time to human, which is why I was taking off some ForceCenter days, because it's just like there aren't enough hours in the day to do everything that needs to be done, kind of thing.
Absolutely, and the ForceCenter fans have been supporting. Svetnik asked, you going to Hawaii afterwards? Yes, that's the plan. You and Spill.
No, I won't be able to afford it. I won't be able to afford anything ever again.
Yeah. All right. I think we're settled. I feel settled.
I think so.
The whiskey is calming down. The whiskey sweats are leaving. We're good. We're good.
Yep. And you missed the puns, right? There were some puns while you were gone.
Oh, good. Maybe that's why I subconsciously pulled away. I heard wordplay.
You heard them coming.
We do have a poll up if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening later, everything, the show's been going smooth. What is the best spooky moment in Star Wars? Anakin burns on Mustafar. Yoda says, you will be. Palpatine gets unlimited power. Brainworms in Clone Wars. Brainworms are winning. Now, again, these are just 4 of many choices. So if you want to call in and give us your favorite choice or leave a comment or a question or a super chat with it, let's talk about the spookiest things. Do you have any I was going to say dog in that race, but do you have any skin in that game with those moments, or some of your favorites?
Yeah, I mean, I think you will be as the winner for me. Because it's the kind of horror I like, which is grounded, emotional truth.
Yeah, yeah,
It's super scary to me. I think I think I was too old for unlimited power, and like the melting is scary.
totally.
I'm not making just a theme joke. The actual truth of his political reality and what he wants is the most frightening.
Sure.
What was the other?
Yeah.
What's the fourth?
Brainworms, Clone Wars.
Brainworms. Brainworms are like they're probably my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of just being like great pulpy awful weirdness, and it's visceral. I think the best horror makes us feel a real fear that we all have. It's just represented in a over the top pulpy way, and I think this idea that we could lose control of ourselves entirely is truly frightening. This sort of fear that there is a disconnect between our brains and our body, and something else could go. I'm gonna pilot your meat vessel is really disturbing.
Yeah, Dan Brooks in his article a year ago, I know he's not at StarWars.com anymore, but he wrote an article a year ago, describes it as gloriously icky, the attack of the brainworms. And I think that's right. Yeah, there's a whole loss of control and just things in your nose. That might be the winner for me.
Deep psychological issue with things in your nose. So for yourself, I know you witnessed the children being scared by Palpatine and unlimited power. But going back to your childhood or your adulthood, what has personally scared you the most, Ken?
The Rancor definitely scared me, and if I ever have a chance to meet Phil Tippett, I had a chance at Anaheim, and we kept walking. I just didn't want to bother the guy, but I'm gonna thank him for just me learning that he was part of the team that created that, and that it wasn't a real monster was big in my life, but it terrified me. The Rancor, just that something bigger than you, that you could fall down, and that Luke fell for it. I remember as a kid kind of being like, but why can't you? You could totally tell that grading equals trap. Floor grading equals trap. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
So that moment got me as a kid.
Yeah, and did you like the Gamorrean guards? Was it upsetting to you that one got munched?
I don't like that stuff. I occasionally on the internet you'll run into like, look at this snake eating a rabbit. Like, I cannot do that stuff. It upsets me. I'm suddenly in the eyes of that bunny rabbit. Like, I suddenly feel like I don't enjoy that part of nature, and it's nature. I get it. So that guard going in, it just terrified me as a kid. Terrified me. And plus, the Rancor is just on its own is a really scary image to put in front of a 7-year-old.
Oh gosh, yes, yeah. I was just talking to my dad about this memory of he had a buddy who lived in Washington State when we lived in Portland, Oregon, and we went up and visited him in like the deep old woods. And it was my brother and I was 6 and he was 9, and this guy was trying to impress us and was kind of filled with the sort of stereotypes of like boys like icky things and violence. So these giant slugs on the ground. He's like, hey guys, watch this. And he stomped on a slug and it just exploded in every direction. And my brother and I both started screaming and weeping and worrying about the slug's family. And the guy was just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But that's the way I felt when the Gamorrean guard got eaten, was like, I like the pig guy. I already have an action figure of him. I'm like, I'm sorry for that pig guy.
I'm not siding with Jabba on social issues or political issues, but that guy showed up to work that day. He had a job to do. Suddenly down there he's eaten by the monster that he probably watched eat other people for so long. Maybe there's some justice in that. Maybe not. Maybe some justice. Yeah. But that's it. We have some choices coming in too, and we got some calls lined up. We got Corey, Jared, the TIE Pilot, Ben lined up here. Laserbolt videos brings up this one. Minoc jump scare for me. That if I could put 10 choices on this YouTube poll, that would have been on it for me too.
It's a great jump scare, and the milky mouth, I think, really puts it over the top.
Yeah, I don't like a milky mouth.
Who likes a milky mouth? I remember my mom asking another parent, "Are there scary moments in Empire Strikes Back?" And I couldn't have understood what she was talking about at the time, but the mother was really upset about the Wampa at the beginning. At
Mm-hmm.
the jump scare of the Wampa whacking Luke in the face right
Yeah.
away, and I can see that, especially if like you'd be like, "I can't wait to see my hero Luke Skywalker," and then first thing just whoosh
Oh
out
yeah.
of the blue.
And that precious, Tauntaun just living, just doing its thing. Now it's dead. Yeah, that guy. There was one as a kid too. Even though I do love the Wampa over the years.
Hmm.
Nick Arcakis says this one, Arcus, I should say. The panic of the rebels yelling, "Help us!" in Rogue One. The
Yeah.
other side of the hallway scene. I know a lot of people are focusing on Vader being a badass, which I get, he is in that scene, but that's a horror monster coming for those rebels.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's one of the best horror scenes in Star Wars for sure.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. All right. We got some calls lined up. I want to hear from some folks. We got our first call of the day from Jared the TIE Pilot. Oh, I got to get the right setup. Hi, Jared. You're on camera. There we go. That's it. That's better. One of those kind of days, man. We're crashing into the weekend. At least, Jared, you were dressed this time. How are you, buddy?
Hey, that's why I always like calling in. I don't have to be on camera. I can be nice and cool, relaxed. Today, bathrobe.
Bathrobe day. Scariest moment for you? Where you go?
Well, for the poll's sake, because I'm a gore hound, so I did Mustafar, Anakin burning up. But but to add one that, of course, you couldn't add due to the poll limits, I feel the overlooked one is Mando Season 1, Episode 4, directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, the Chicken Walker attack on the village.
Mm-hmm.
You got a nice nighttime fight. Instead of the usual bright lights, they've got the red lights and the spot searchlight coming down from the Chicken Walker. It's covered in moss and camo. It's just coming out like Jaws and going back in. I think that's a very effective spooky scene right there.
Yeah, I think it's a great pick, and I think it's often been compared to like sort of more the Godzilla kaiju brand of horror, which I think is really effectively done with the scary red eyes of the Chicken Walker.
Yeah, I thought one of the most effective things of that is taking an Imperial piece of equipment that I think over the years has been, its fear isn't as potent as other an AT-AT, but we've seen Ewoks take those things down. So I remember when they're talking about that episode of like, "Well, you didn't tell me it's an AT-ST. I'm out of here." I'm like, "Well, that's not scary. You can like throw rocks at it and you're good." But Bryce Dallas Howard shooting it like a dinosaur, shooting it like the kaiju, like it's very effective. You're in it. You're in the moment, and I actually appreciate that episode more now than I did season one.
Oh yeah, season one's got a lot of great moments. I feel like we keep forgetting how just special that season was overall, and just how much it brought everybody into a good place for about 5 minutes before the Discord started discording.
The Discord started discording. I agree with that. Yeah, a lot of people agree with that. Oh, a lot of people. You're reminding now with so many options now with TV shows and everything. A lot of people bringing up the ice spiders. Ice spiders. Mando saying the ice spiders. Svetnik's got reminded of Mando and the ice spiders.
Yeah, great album. But yes, the ice spiders are up there for me because it is that like one spider's not scary. Thousands of angry ones at varying sizes that are going to get you unless you get shelter. I like things like that of like it isn't just mood or ambiance. They are going to get you for sure unless you can get around this corner, get around that. That's so great.
Oh yeah, and their design was really unique too. Like you could tell the spider of it all right away, but just that long frozen body of it. It's like, ooh, good little touches by the art department there.
Absolutely. Great choices, great options. What other question is on your mind today, Jared? Deep sigh.
I know. Honestly, it has been one of those days. You know what? I will just say, everybody, be good people. Go click on Joseph's IMDb again, so he can get them star ratings. Join Ken on the blathering.
You all crushed it on checking out the IMDb. I have been unnaturally high for 3 weeks on the star meter. Not myself unnaturally high. My star meter has been unnaturally high for like 3 weeks. I keep checking like, it's going to go down really far this week. Like, nope. I'm sure people are looking at it going like,
Yep.
the hell?
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Who is this rising star in cinema? That's
Right.
what we need. That's what we need.
Just remember the little folks, Joseph.
I will. You are all my star meter.
Love it. Thank you, Jeff, for your call and those sentiments as well.
Thank you,
All
Jared.
right, you guys, be safe.
All right.
too.
Love it. Yeah. It was fun to watch the short film again, but watch it. I've seen it in a theater. I've seen it, watching it on a private link. But actually watch it on YouTube, it was great. It felt like I was watching with other people all over again. So
Yeah, it's really nice. Really nice to just have it out there. People have been so supportive the whole time, and every time it'd be like, hey, it's playing in this city. People would be like, when's it going to be available? So it's really nice to just have it out there.
There you go. Great comments coming in. If you got a comment, question, super chat, super thanks, all the stuff, we of course appreciate it. We want to highlight some super chats. Nightfall, Adam Knight of Nightfall Productions. Happy Friday, y'all. Quadface has a question we'll get to. Who in Star Wars probably checking their kids' candy? That's a great question, but highlighting that as well. And I like this one in terms of answers for what's the spookiest thing in Star Wars. Verlando talking about the Ewok hunt in Battlefront 2. That horn goes off. It's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
And then Will Dixon points out Andor Horde. Deidre being stalked by Sarah Karn or just Edie Karn herself.
Yeah, I think that's getting into some answers about checking the candy, for sure. I will move on from this, but Emran says, "Can you click it if you don't have IMDb Plus or whatever?" Yes, it's just whoever is viewing it. That's what controls the star meter, which strangely is not viewable to the public. You have to pay to IMDb Plus to see the star meter. And yet the star meter is what the industry is looking at to determine financial value.
What a wonderful time. Wonderful time.
Yep.
Look, there's always been obstacles in front of success in the entertainment fields, but these ones just seem so stupid and arbitrary.
Amen.
We'll get you rated up there. Another call lined up. We lost one. Ben, call back if you can. But Corey is on here. Corey, can you hear us? Can you get into it? Your mic is still muted, so let us know if you can hear us. You are here. There's Corey. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, it's a Friday. Teaching 6th grade has been great this week, but I am ready for the podcast that's live streaming.
You are Excellent. Here. You were on it. What did you vote in the poll? What's your most spooky Star Wars moment?
It's just there's nothing that spooky about Star Wars except for Ian McDiarmid in Return of the Jedi is the only thing as a kid that got me a little kind of scared of what might happen, at the end of the movie. But other than that, I was trying to search my memories and nothing really kind of made me scared except for that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I mean, we're such fans of Ian McDiarmid there, but even just that face staring by the cowl, even when he's just like chatting casually with the Imperial dignitaries, he's just scary as a kid. You didn't know what that was.
Yeah. What do you think about him scared you? Was it
the red eyes?
Was it the red eyes? Yeah, the unnatural.
Yeah, very unnatural. And up until then, it was people. It was manageable. But then you got him, and it's just a little bit too. I mean, he's just his voice and the whole thing kind of spooked me. I mean, he's only in it in sparing moments, so it was so overwhelming. But that was the only thing that's spooky, I could say, for me.
I think it's a big one. The Emperor, freaky for a lot of reasons. Scary and spooky for a lot of reasons.
Scary and Return of the Jedi.
I did want to mention, I loved your podcast last week that you covered a subject that I needed to hear, I think, which was about the bad faith fans. And how, because I have a co-teacher who's a big fan and everything. And I told her, I was like, in the morning, I was like, it was so refreshing to hear someone say this out. Because I hadn't articulated it in my head about what be so sour about going on YouTube and clicking sites. And it's like, no one told me until you did, basically, in the podcast, is that, especially, the other coach, Laura or
Jennifer. Yeah.
Jennifer. Yeah. Just clarified everything for me. And it was so refreshing to get that, because I don't want to go near that subject. It's not really what I'm interested in doing today. But I wanted to shout you out for doing that, because I thought you went extremely long. The episode that was like 2.5 hours or something.
Yes.
That was, and I was listening to it. I was like, thank God someone is finally talking about this. Or just,
I mean, yeah. So. We appreciate that, Corey, and it's a bummer we have to, right? It's a bummer that this is where we're at in a lot of spaces, even outside of Star Wars, of course, outside the walls of pop culture, just information, bad faith, all the kind of engagements out there. Yeah, but I appreciate that sentiment, and hopefully you can, if we can help you articulate it to others and get that ball rolling in a more positive direction in life and Star Wars, that's a good thing.
Well, it makes it easier as a fan to kind of gloss over the internet and just avoid things the traps that you go into with this stuff, and all that. And I just want to enjoy Star Wars for what it is. And, you talking about it was just so refreshing. It was just so good to hear. So,
well, we appreciate it.
Yeah, really appreciate it. And I do think, there's always lots of awful things to talk about, but I think in talking about the awful things, for me it helps clarify that there are so many of us out there who can just disagree and just go, oh, that one wasn't for me, but I'm not angry about it, and I don't judge you for liking it. And it makes me happy to think of the number of good faith fans there are who can just disagree and not have it be an agenda of hate for clicks.
Yeah, and it was So I mean, I just still remember that podcast and appreciating you guys for what you do and having that understanding of the whole thing that for me was just clarifying, helpful, and informative. And what I do is teach 11-year-olds.
Oh, wow, yeah. Well, again, Corey, thank you for that. Thanks for being part of this team over here. We appreciate you, my friend. All right. Oh, there we go. Sorry, Corey, I cut you off if you were going to say something. Jared, the TIE pilot, good caller is good. Ding.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate that. It's not just about. We love hearing good things about what we do, and we love having listeners and longtime ForceCenter friends. But I just think in these times, right? Capital T. In these times, it's just nice to know that. Some good actual conversation about what's going on. That what we're not doing is or what we're doing is not in a silo. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
All right, I still feel like I'm still don't trust my computer right now. That's where I'm at. Right, I have to be honest. I just don't trust my computer today. It was working fine. Anyways. I gotta move past that, right? What would Yoda say? I gotta let go of this.
The fear walks with you, but it does not need to control you.
Exactly. Kind of an other center question for you, Joseph. This came up in my blathering show yesterday, live show I do every Thursday on my own channel. Plug. Serenity Jane asks, if not already asked, what's your go-to Halloween film? Serenity Jane answers Hocus Pocus. I struggled to answer this yesterday because, as you know, wasn't raised with Halloween, didn't celebrate as much, so I don't even know. I get scared easily, so it's not a horror film. It's not a Friday the 13th. Hocus Pocus, I did see very late in life, so that didn't take to me like it took a lot of other folks. But I got it. I got the fun of it. But you're more of a spooky season fan. You live this, you love it. What's your go-to?
I think my two go-tos in the last couple of years have been the original Halloween film, which I came to much later in life.
Okay.
I think when I was, growing up in the mid 80s and I couldn't see these horror movies, and older kids would just tell me random details of, hey, these teens were having sex and then Jason did this to them. And Michael Myers and Halloween just seemed part of the whole sort of slasher craze that was delivered to me by, just stories of older kids. So when I finally got around to watching, the original Friday the 13th, I was like, this is not very scary to me. The original Nightmare on Elm Street, very scary. But then for some reason, it took me years and years and years to see the original Halloween. I had a guest on my old Obsessed podcast who wanted to talk about it. I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And I was blown away by how amazing it is. It's up there with Jaws in its it's so simple that you can read all sorts of depth into it and all sorts of different analogies to it. I think even you would enjoy it because it was like shocking and scary for the time, and it is very tame by modern standards.
Breaking news: recently, maybe in the last couple of years, I did watch it. I remember it was going to be one of those. This is a key relationship moment. I better watch it. Grace a fan, and yeah, I agree with you. For years being afraid of it, right? Just me being a little scaredy cat kid from the 80s that doesn't watch scary movies. Yeah, it doesn't immediately grab you like that, but it works in so many other ways. Yeah, I appreciate it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I don't seek that out, but I appreciate it.
Okay. And then the other one for me that I sometimes just rewatch every Halloween is the original Universal 1931 Bela Lugosi Dracula. I don't even think it's the best of the Universal films, but it is to this day, especially like that first 20 minutes, Dracula's castle, the look, the spiders, the passing through the web, all of it is just it is the explosion from which all of goth comes from. So yeah. I love that film. And in fact, later tonight, my wife and I are going to go see in a theater with a live orchestra the Spanish version of Dracula that they filmed at the same time as the original Dracula. So those are a couple for me.
Love that. Is that kind of the question last night on my show was framed as like, what movie is kind of like you watch it and you know Halloween's here.
Yeah.
But this is a little different question, but that's kind of it. Like spooky season has begun.
Like the last 3 or 4 years, I'll do stuff on Halloween with my wife, and we have, if we watch a movie, we have to pick one that's like, she's not a huge fan, so we have to pick the right kind of horror movie. And then when she goes to bed, I'll watch Halloween or Dracula is my my last thing to savor the Halloween. Someone also mentioned Scream, which is also Scream's probably the film that made me as an adult go, wait. Horror movies can be awesome, particularly if you care about the characters. So Scream is hugely important to me as well.
I feel that. We got some follow-ups to this here. Big Luce's Film School. We had an in-depth study on the Halloween score and the power of its simplicity. Jared watches the Nosferatu from 1922, but Will Dixon watches Herzog's Nosferatu.
I watched that recently and had a lot of slow, creepy fun.
Yeah, and then Nick saying, I've always loved Poltergeist. That was a big no in our house. That was a big, we're not watching that demonic stuff. You go to your room, Ken, and handle that. We are here live. We got a super chat we're going to get to here, as well as we got to answer Quadface's question. The Quadface, not quite Dr. Quadpaw. We got a lot going to. We got calls ready. Not yet. If anyone else wants to call in, you have to be a Patreon member at patreon.com/ForceCenter. We are 2 away from our 415 goal, which means once we hit that, you're going to get a private live stream. We keep selling it as something it's not. It's just a hangout session for all of you Patreon supporters. So we're close to that. And if you become a Patreon supporter, even today, even right now, you'll get in the first post. It isn't the pin post, is the call-in link. So you can call in live like Corey has and Jared has. And Ben did, maybe couldn't, lost the time. So Ben, if you want to call back, let us know. Let's see. I also want to make sure I sent you a message, Joseph.
Oh, okay. I'll check it out. Thank you.
We are producing live today.
Passing notes in gym class.
Passing notes in gym class, indeed. Chris, our buddy Chris Kiefer checking in says, thanks for the very generous super chat, Chris. I found Chimera to be creepy. The uncertainty of his motives and the way Manny Jacinto portrayed him was unsettling. Really agree with that. He was unnerving. Not knowing, and some of his motives I thought were clear, but just how he framed them and others that weren't as clear and where the show ends up and fortunately where the show ends. I agree with that. Pretty creepy portrayal. That won me over, right? I was a little like, this bumbling clown better be something evil or I'm not in on this. And then he was very unsettling.
The bumbling clown was really great setup to it. I think him being just such a great badass and such a true you are frightened of him because he is capable of killing everyone around him. But I think one element of scary I like is when there can be the monster who you don't understand their motivation, you don't know if they can be reasoned with. There can be the sort of sympathetic monster who doesn't mean to kill, like Frankenstein's monster. And then with Chimera, I think there's this creepiness where he's like, I know exactly what I'd done, and I rationalized it, and I am totally okay with this. I think the scariest moment for me of Chimere is not when he snaps Yord's neck, but when he gives him a little force push away, like he's just garbage.
Yeah.
Like that little force push to just show how limp he is after. Is so scary. So scary. Yeah.
Lauren
said it for me correctly there.
Yeah. Sorry, I bring that. Lauren, both unhinged and controlled. Scary combo. And Mike updates us. We are one away from our Patreon goal. Let's do it.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, Jambi agreeing to a certain degree there. So they're that's a great one. Thank you, Chris, for that. Darth Teeth, back when we knew him just as Darth Teeth.
The shot when Darth Teeth floated down out of the trees like a vampire was exceptional. Agreed. Very much agreed.
Agree with that. We'll answer this question. And Justin, too, full disclosure, I know you got a little bit of filmmaking business you got to handle. We're going to do that. So I don't want people, if Joseph starts seeming distracted, he's not ordering DoorDash of, not sending a frozen pizza his way. He's actually working. But while we're setting that up, and your Quadface's question, thanks again for the super chat in Star Wars, who probably is checking their kids' candy? A lot of people in chat, of course, immediately correctly jump into Edie card. But then someone in chat said I should scroll up and get it. Come on, Edie wouldn't even let him have candy.
She's eating it herself, I think. Yeah, said Ovetnisk.
Ovesnik,
yeah. Apologies for doing a scary thing to your name. So Edie Karn. It seems like definitely the controlling type, the fear-based type, the wanting to install fear in her child. I think that's where my candy checking comes from. So who else wants to install fear?
So here's what I don't think it's fear based, but Han's absolutely checking Ben's candy.
Oh yeah,
Han is going to play some smuggler trick on him and get a piece of candy or two. He's obviously going to let him have the candy he wants, but I think it's a dad joke gone awry because we all have maybe those things in our backgrounds with our parents that I don't think my parents intended to do blank in a bad way. But it was on my mind, right? Like I used to get teased a lot of like at church if I had a crush on a girl. There was a lot of teasing from my parents.
Oh,
you like her, and so what ended up happening? I didn't date till I was 26 because I was if I even talked to a girl, my mom and dad are gonna make fun of me and sin, and it was like, but they didn't mean that. But I think that's what Han would do with the candy. He'd be like, "Oh, what you got in that bag, kid?" And then but I'll give you 2 of these for 1 of these. And he'd take like the 100 grand, then and give him like the sesame bars. Like, you got 2 sesame bars, you're winning. And then I think Ben lets that fester.
Yeah. Well, it's not a parent relationship, but I think Ki-Adi-Mundi at whatever age would check his Padawan's candy, just out of caution and because it is the Jedi rules to check the candy.
I don't know. This one has too much nougat in it. The calorie count on this one is not good.
Bill Rudd's got a good answer. Uncle Owen is double checking Luke's candy and probably taste testing a bit too. Yeah. And Bruce, they're like, Owen, let the boy have some candy.
Great answers. Hera would check for spine devices. That's just practical. That's just practical. Michael Glover, music say Mon Mothma would 100% be checking the bag. I agree with that.
Yes, in case somebody's going to retaliate. Somebody from the Empire is going to retaliate by going
that might
after
be a
her
plot
daughter.
in Andor season 2.
Oh my God, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Check the Pizos. I don't think a kid get Pizos for Halloween. I think that's a drug. But
maybe.
I mean, check the candy so make sure it isn't secretly Pizos. You know who checks the candy too?
Yeah.
Mother Talzin to make sure a razor is in there. For sure.
In there. There's no razor blades in your. That's not how Mother Talzin talks. That's not how she talks. That's check for those treats laced with spices, Chris. Absolutely. Uncle Owen would be, you don't need this candy. You need to go work. You don't need no fun. You don't need no fun. I think some of that comes to mind. Yeah. I think Marva sat little Cassian down and was like, "Eat what you want.
Yeah.
Eat what you want." She was that. We all have that friend who's like, "Oh yeah, my mom gave me condoms at 13." Like, we just have that friend.
For Halloween.
Like, oh yeah. I've done drugs. My mom gave me her weed. Like, it's just like it's. I think Marvin's got a little bit of that. Clem, maybe Clem was a little like, "Hey, Marvin, we got to be a little careful," but Marvin's like, "Nah, scab the Empire. We're doing this."
Cassian, razors are a part of life.
There we go. Chopper.
Oh, Quadface has a good follow-up to their own question. Would the armor even let the foundlings go trick-or-treating?
Oh, no. Oh, absolutely not.
Man.
Going back to my upbringing, where I've told the story before of my church had the Hallelujah Hoedown, and we weren't allowed to go trick-or-treating. We went to the Hallelujah Hoedown, and I had a lot of fun. I ain't even knocking it. I'm just saying that's what the armor's got going on. It's a separate holiday. It's something else. And it's like, no, you just go around the cave.
Yeah, I'm sure like on Mandalore, they celebrate, All Armor's Eve or something like that. And like, nope. Not doing this, these outside holidays.
Saw Gerrera gives out jawbreakers, says Will Dixon. Yeah. Teeth, pain. Suck on them. Yes.
Din Djarin is totally chaperoning Grogu's trick-or-treating. But at this point, I think Grogu can sense the razor.
Yeah. Big Lou, trick or treat in the cars. Jared asks this, says, "Cat, WTF, what kind of friends did you have at 13?" We all have that one, okay? And I had one a little bit later in my life. He was a Star Trek actor. He actually was in that one with the 7 of 9 or whatever. He was that kid. His mom was just like, it was, I don't even know if it was good or bad. It just like, they had a different relationship. Where they were just a lot more open with things, and it was so foreign to me that I just didn't understand it. Like, where are the rules? Does your mom know you're out here doing this? Yeah. She's the one that told me to try it. Like, okay,
yeah. No, absolutely. I knew kids and parents like that too. Or like they got to teen years and like instead of hiding this or shaming you about this, we're going to educate you.
Yes, indeed.
That was not my parents.
No, still not my parents. still. There's a lot of plausible deniability on things going on in my adult life. That I don't want to get into it. Michael McCarthy says Grogu would be egging houses. Lauren says Grogu would get himself in trouble stealing out of his trick-or-treat bags. Oh, that's true. That's absolutely true. It's called Voyager. All right, Big Lou, calm down. You Trekkies. Calm down. James with a non-Star Wars question. Off topic, but either of you watched the animated Lion King yet? No, I haven't. You haven't had time. There's no way.
I haven't had time, and I also we got to make a thing of it at this point. We need to either do a live stream or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you and I are gonna sit down and watch that thing, if I do, Grace will have to be involved.
Yeah,
I think she's still upset. Checking in on the poll, 70 votes are in for what is the best spooky Star Wars moment. If you're calling in, get your answer ready for this. Anakin burns on Mustafar. Yoda says you will be. Palpatine gets unlimited power. Brainworms in the Clone Wars. It is now tied. It's closer than the next presidential election, which is already too close. Yoda says you will be. 41%. Brainworms in Clone Wars. 41%.
Anakin burning is that is really upsetting, depending on, especially if you watched those films in any sort of sequence, either when they came out or later in your life, to identify with Anakin. For kids who didn't know where this is going.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine the way I grew up with Luke Skywalker, and at the end he burns into flames and yells "I hate you" at Han and Leia. I'd be like, if I didn't know that's where it was going,
Yeah. And for me, that "I hate you" is one of Hayden's finer moments. It's guttural.
It's awful. It's awful in those eyes, and just like, oh my God. Yeah. And it's a fascinating moment too, with Lucas being like, well, Star Wars is for kids. let's light this one on fire.
PG-13, right? Wasn't that the case there? And
Yeah. And I remember my nephew, who was born in 2000, so I think it was probably around 2011, 2012, and he said in a real mopey, voice, like, I know what happens in Revenge of the Sith, but I can't see it until I'm 13.
I love that. Hey, as a kid destroyed by Temple of Doom's PG rating, who had his just speaking of scary moments, and a mom that was mad. And there you go. Yes. And yes, Jared, to answer your question, yes, I went, where did it go? Yeah, I went to high school with Manu, went to Reme. Yeah, that's Egypt. Yep, we were in Shakespeare together. I was old Gobo and he was Gobo. There we go. Good stuff. Kids like fire, says Nick. Kids do like fire.
Yay! Let's go roast marshmallows over Anakin. Yay!
Big Lou, who still has some power around here. Look at that wrench next to him. He helped us keep bad questions away the last live stream. I voted for You Will Be, but my true answer is the Dark Side Cave and Empire. Scared me like crazy as a kid. I don't disagree with that either. I don't love caves. I don't like spelunking or spelunking or kerklunking. I don't know nothing in caves. So that scared me in a lot of. And plus, I like lizards, don't like snakes. But you got iguanas and things that are making all those sounds and the weird warnings from Yoda, like don't take your weapons, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, and the creatures biting at them. You don't know what's down there. Yeah. Lauren says, not a scary moment per se, but the opening of Rise of Skywalker has great horror vibes. Yeah, we love that scene around these parts, Ken and I do. It is so set up to evoke everything from my beloved Universal horror films, to so supportive of the overall ideas of what the Sith are. What can I give you? Everything. So good.
The lightning, the hands, everything about it. Yeah, big fan. I saw it again recently. It was on TNT. I was out of town for a wedding last week, and just TNT had that marathon going, so I was able to check back in before I left town and saw that opening again. I just love it. I'm in on it.
All aesthetic, and it's so psychological too of Ben thinking that he can control his own destiny, and just this sort of horrible force underground going, no, you can't. You don't know anything. You don't really have control. It's like,
Love that. I like Eric Santiago's answer. It's not exactly scary, but dread-inducing. I love the convo where Obi tells Anakin to swallow Palpatine. So much for voting. I agree with that. We could almost do a poll on thematically freaky and scary and spooky moments. You had talked about the unlimited power one having a lot of meaning, obviously, behind just the moment itself. So, yeah, Eric, I'm with you on that. It's just because it's one of those, like, oh, man, you all know you're making a mistake, right? Like, you all know you're doing, like, don't do this. Don't do this.
There are a lot of thoughts on the Anakin burning. I want to share some of these.
Please.
Bill Rudd says, Anakin on fire is intense, but having gone to the movie knowing for my whole life that Vader got thrown into lava by Obi-Wan, it was honestly less scary than I had anticipated. That's great. Yeah, that's great. 8984M has the opposite experience of, I know having watched the prequels with people who hadn't seen it yet, Anakin burning was genuinely upsetting for them. It's such a big difference if you're anticipating it and looking for it, and different if you have no idea it's coming. Then LMG says, my daughter's favorite movie was, of course, the one where Anakin burns. I wondered if I should be concerned. Nah. The one where Anakin burns, the subtitle for Revenge of the Sith.
It is indeed. And with that on the poll, You Will Be has jumped to a 4-point lead, a 4 percentage point lead, 77 votes. Get in there. If you're watching along, thank you. Don't forget to like the video. It does help. We don't always play the algorithm game around these parts. We're a podcast first more than anything, but helping us get a little higher in the algorithm wouldn't be a bad thing. So just like you got to hit that IMDb page for Joseph's page, hit our like button here if you're watching along as well.
Somebody said a while back, and I can't find it, for a scary moment. So sorry, I can't find the comment, but of Obi-Wan watching Vader march down the street in the Kenobi show and just mercilessly kill people just to upset Obi-Wan. That was
Yeah, I'm due for a Kenobi rewatch.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll start on Halloween. Yeah. There you go. James Holmes says this. The more I think about it, that scene in New Hope where Leia and the interrogation droid is being brought in. Doubt that was pleasant. Yeah, and I do like that's such a moment. And for me, it was a commercial moment when the broadcast went to commercial on my VHS recording of that for years. But I love that not love it, but I like that it got revisited in some of the Star Wars books in the new era. She was tortured. Leia was tortured. It's a torture droid. It's an interrogation droid, torture droid, and her father did it. Just feeling that grip of his gloved hand on her shoulder during the Alderaan moment. I love that was used for some important Star Wars storytelling, and it reminds you of. I don't know, much like seeing, there's some stuff going on in Naboo that it seems all just kiddie and peaceful, but there's some, bad occupation happening, dealt later on in E.K. Johnston's book. This is one of those moments as well for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that shot in A New Hope, I think, is one of the best shots in A New Hope of the camera coming down with the slam of the door. Is a very, successful, artful way to go, what's happening in there is awful. And it totally passed over my head as a kid. And then I read the Splinter the Mind's Eye novelization, the first Legends novel. And Leia spends a big chunk of time in that thinking about how awful the torture was.
Oh, yeah.
Way
Absolutely.
back then.
Good stuff indeed. We got a call lined up. We can go to that. We do have... This question, this statement from James, I agree with. Again, not scary as such, but Dooku's flight to the industrial sector and Coruscant and Mu Sidious is very creepy and foreboding. Yeah, I just watched that again. It was on the TNT marathon, and I love the music in that. I love everything in that sequence. I love Dooku's ship. Like, I don't think we celebrate the Solar Sailor enough.
Solar Sailor is so good.
It's such a weird, wonderful design, and all that. Little pod jump, he retracts, of course, the solar sails, and then just a little pod left, little bullet flying over the works. Yeah, it's creepy, especially then in 02. Like, I don't know, it really worked for me because it just was I felt I was going to a part of Coruscant that only us hardcore fans knew about the works and all the stuff we were going on. Like, and it was just like, oh my God, what are they doing? What are they doing? And I like that. And so, James, good call on that.
Mm-hmm.
Good call indeed. Oh yeah, we got some good stuff here. All right, hanging in there. Anyone? We got a call lined up. You want to go to the call? Where do you need to go, sir?
Let's do the call, and then I might do my paperwork real quick.
There you go. You're seeing filmmaking in action. We're going to bring in Will. Call him back to the show here. Will, good to hear from you. Good to see you out there in Little Rock.
Hey, Will.
Back in August.
Gentlemen, you guys doing all right?
Yeah.
We're doing good. We're doing good.
We want the paperwork live streamed.
You know what? It's a valuable lesson. Like, there's a lot of, obviously, some, romanticism in pursuing the arts, and I think that's real, and that should be part of the driving force you're here. But I think Joseph will teach us all a valuable lesson by going, all right, here's the paperwork I have to fill out today for my business adventure. That's about to begin.
Yep. I will do. I'll do the paperwork live on air.
Live on air.
Yeah, but excited to talk to you, Will.
Well, I'm just calling with the parent's guide to trying to assess when your children are ready for various spots in Star Wars, because I was flying by the seat of my pants in doing this. My son is now a freshman in high school, but he was would have been 4 years old, I guess, about around the time Force Awakens came out, and so there was a juggling act of like, well, when is he ready for Star Wars, and when did I start watching? Well, I don't remember. He's fine. So we took him through A New Hope, and that was no problem. No problem with Empire Strikes Back. And so I remember being scared of the Wampa as a kid, but he had no trouble with it. So I'm like, oh, he's good. But we get to the Rancor, and like you, Ken, I was like, I don't know about the Rancor if he's gonna. How he's going to do this. I'm watching it with the remote right over his shoulder, just kind of like, all right, there's this thing, but it's really a puppet, so don't worry about it. And instead of like going, being frightened of it or being like, oh, that was fine, he was enamored with the Rancor. He wanted to watch that sequence over and over and over. So now I'm scared on the other side. I'm like, great, I've got this bloodthirsty child who's gonna, who'll be watching Hellraiser in 4th grade, and this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he was great with it, and I took him to Force Awakens. I was a little worried about Kylo. Will Kylo raging at the console scare him? No problem. So we get back home. So now it's like, oh, the gloves are off. Let's just keep going. Get to the prequels. Attack of the Clones. He doesn't like Zam Wesell, and I'm like, huh. All right. Well, I mean, he wasn't afraid, but he just didn't like her.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't never get out of him why. Just didn't like it. Moving along, we get to Revenge of the Sith, and I'm like, okay, this one, how's it gonna go? He loved Mace Windu with the 3 Jedi coming in to defeat Palpatine. Kit Fisto's his guy, and so he was just like, of course, I'm ribbing him like, hey, look how quickly this guy goes down, But didn't like that either. Right after that, he would quickly move along. So the second Mace shows up, second Anakin shows up, that's when the fast forwarding begins. So it's strike 2 on. I'm trying to like, what is he not liking? And certainly Mustafar, like when it even got close to that sequence, we were skipping everything. I'm like, oh, he doesn't like face melting. Because tracing it back to Zam, when she would turn her head and she reveals that she's not really human, I'm like, I got him. I got what it is. So now I'm thinking like, oh, Raiders. When can we go to Raiders?
No.
But I just wanted to share that because it was the things you think are going to get them don't, and then the opposite is true of stuff that you think is fairly benign. So
there you go.
Anyway,
there you go.
Parenting as a Star Wars parent, it's always a challenge.
Will, I think you need to write it up as a pamphlet, sell it online. Star Wars Guide to Scary, Star Wars Parenting Guide to Scary Star Wars.
Look, I don't
know. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I don't know if you guys remember, but years ago I wrote into you about giving him the Darth Revan coin to take to kindergarten as his token of I don't know, just kinship, where he was afraid to go to kindergarten, and me having like mentally be like, I'm giving him why Darth Revan, why does he want this? Why does he like the Rancor? This kid's going to be a bloodthirsty psycho, but he's a well-adjusted human. He's coming up all right.
He's in good hands. Good. Great stuff. Great shares. Well, before I let you go, though, you got to answer that poll. What are you voting for, and what is your personal spooky Star Wars moment?
Oh, it's You Will Be. There's no question. See? I don't know what it is, and I don't know what has changed generationally about like how people receive that line, but it seems like it was anti-Yoda somehow. I don't know. It just the way he delivers it, and then Luke's face upon hearing it looks exactly like I would expect I looked when Yoda's doing that. Luke, Hamill just looks like. What? So that's it for me.
I think it's a fast journey just in terms of minutes of film storytelling from I cannot get your ship out to dropping that scary line, and it's delivered so well by Frank Oz and performed so well that the Muppet is even more. It goes from whimsy to horrible reality, and then I also think it's like Luke's already like. Well, I'm trying to have a fight with an evil sorcerer who runs a horrible galactic empire, and he's going to try to kill me with the laser sword, and he already tortured my friends and killed my friends, and there's something more I need to be scared of, but you're not being clear with what it is. That open-endedness of what the F more can I be frightened of that I'm already frightened of is so scary.
I don't know if the camera moves in or if Frank Oz moves Yoda forward a bit as he's doing it, but he just seems like he's just getting right up in your face. Oh, you like that, boy? Oh yeah.
I think one of the things you mentioned up top, Joseph, about the puppets angry at us. It's one of the times where obviously now I'm super aware of what it is and what the process is, but even then watching it, his eyes are so dead. It's the only time. And I don't mean it like, oh, it's a puppet, but you're just like, oh, there's nothing behind those eyes. He's really like, oh, you will be. And and then I think there's something about him leaning in. Maybe the camera goes in, pushes it a bit. It got me. It got me as a kid. So that's why it's on there. Well, thank you. Continue doing a great job raising Padawans. All right.
Absolutely. You guys have a happy Halloween.
Thank you
you,
so
Will.
much. You too.
Will, and there other calls lined up, but yeah, good stuff there. I love it's the little moments, and a lot of it is definitely tied to if you watched it in your youth. I get that, but it still works. Once something scared me as a kid, it still lingers with me, even if I work through it and I'm not scared anymore. Like Large Marge and Pee-wee's Big Adventure is still a problem, though I'm not scared anymore. But I carry the residual fear.
Yeah, no, I understand. I can see how the Claudites would be scary. If the person is not what they appear to be.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Especially it's just this little like, did I see it? Did I not see it?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think I remember the first time seeing Ted Coons. Until it's revealed a little bit later when you're actually 100% sure. I think in that moment I was like, did I just see that? I don't know if I saw that. So that's part of it as well. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go through some questions. Do you need to get to work?
It's going to take me a second. I'm going to stay on the air. I'm just going to be doing typey. It's not going to take me that long. But yes, I just feel like it'll be nice for people to know what I'm doing and that I'm not ignoring them on purpose.
Yeah. No, absolutely. We are honest around these parts. Bill Rudd has a question here about some love for Clone Wars Season 4, Episode 21. Brothers Savage will press on a trash planet led by a talking snake to insane Spider Maul. Absolutely outrageous when you think about it. Yeah, it's so over the top in a wonderful Star Wars way, but it's one of those little, if you actually think about it, it can be a little freaky. The Clone Wars is so good at that. I mean, hell, I think Mortis is a fantastical, fear-inducing, I should say, episode. I mean, when you don't know what's going on, you got an angel and a demon on your shoulders, and there's a lot going on there. I agree with that there as well.
Yeah, I think the snake's name is Morley, which makes it somehow makes it even more frightening that he's got an old man at a diner name.
It's getting Morley. He's got the eggs over easy, and he's leading people to their death from Maul.
Yep.
Good stuff there. Laserbolt. Yeah. Like JMB says, Mortis arc for how weird it gets. I actually think that is in there as well. JMB also saying the Umbara arc in Clone Wars is pretty spooky. Yeah, that whole thing there. And then Laserbolt has a question: Which Star Wars characters which Star Wars character has the best decorations for Halloween? Oh, in terms of who would decorate their house? See, now this is when I'm like being overwhelmed by the sheer amount of characters in Star Wars now, which is a good thing. I think given the opportunity in a better timeline where she's a little happier, Sabine, I think she'd be into it. Some good Halloween art. As it is right now, she's a little somber, and good reason, and she has a lot on her head. But I think that would work for me. Pelimoto, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I think if Pelly wanted to get into it, I think we all. Many of us answered. We said some Halloween question recently on a Q show about Maz in the castle.
Right.
But that's not a private residence. That's more like, which bar puts up the best Halloween decorations? But yeah.
Love that. There, good questions. I'm trying to think of who else. Whereas Han would take from Ben's candy, Han would be bad at Halloween decorations, much like me. So he'd need his own. He's got his Princess Leia. I got Grace. I got folks in my life who spooky things up where I might downgrade. That might be that. Maz, Maz. Amaranth says Maz. I agree with that. Though with Maz, I don't know if it's so much decorations. If it's just that's how it is. That's just the vibe of the castle.
Here's a different take. And then I'll finish my paperwork. Poe Dameron. Because I think, we're talking about what's the scary moment in Star Wars, what's the creepy moments, but I think one of the most important parts of Halloween as it exists here in our world is that it's fun. It's all based on spookiness and all that and scariness, but it's other holidays might be fun, but there's nothing that's not meant to be fun about Halloween. There's no guilt to it. There's no sort of anyway, it's just you get candy and you wear goofy things and you get to have fun at school. And I think Poe would be like, hey, look at this guy dressed up as a hut, and he full size candy bar, I think he would really be a representative, not of the spooky side of Halloween, but the just, damn, let's have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, Poe, good time, Poe, around everything. Yeah, he's also around Christmas. He's got on the worst sweater. He's, hey, try this space nog. It's the best. Oh, isn't that good? It's yeah, that's why Poe's Poe. That's why Poe's Poe. Nick saying the B1's decorating the invisible hand and Grievous being completely annoyed. I think we need that as in the next Lego special. That's what I want for that. Eric points out Han is so whatever about anything not related to the Millennium Falcon. Yeah, kind of like me in Fortnite. If it's not that, I don't care. No, I'm kidding. Ezra Serenity Jane said Ezra would be the same as Poe. I agree with that. LMG Sayers bringing up a good point. Hondo could be. He's kind of already in on the decorations, anyways. Like his pad's already kind of got an aesthetic and a vibe and a theme.
Oh yeah. No, and if he chose to, yeah, he throws a good party. He get that his I'm forgetting all their different names because he has 2 different Quakian monkey lizards, Puckmuck, Pickmuck.
Yeah,
he'd get them decorating.
David does point out that in the Life Day Lego special, Poe very into Life Day. That's right. He's wearing that sweater too. That's probably where it's picking up that vibe. Lauren pointing out Kelnaka secretly digs the Blair Witch. Absolutely. Kelnaka just spent a lot of time with his face in the corners there, apparently. Then we got James Holmes. Does no one else think that Jar Jar would be great at arranging a fun Halloween? I think that's absolutely true. I think once an established Jar Jar, there's probably a window with Jar Jar. I think he might have been thrown out of many Halloween parties in Oda Gunga. Could have been part of what started his downfall there, but then we know towards the end of his life he was shunned a little bit too much by his friends. So I think somewhere in that right before he gave powers to Palpatine, right around that time, a little before, he was throwing killer Halloween parties. I believe that. As well. All right, continue to go here, and by all means, type away, Joseph. Do your work, make your film come true. Part of what's going on here. We got some calls lined up. We got Ethan. We got Eli coming in here. If you got a question or a super chat, we'd love to hear it now. Here for about another hour tonight. The poll going good. It's gonna take a comeback from Brainworms here. 88 votes in the poll now. What is the best spooky Star Wars moment? Anakin burns on Mustafar, 16%. Yoda says you will be, 42%. The ultimate answer to the ultimate question. Palpatine gets unlimited power, 7%. I just think we don't have a lot of 8-year-olds voting. That's the problem. I think if we had more 8-year-olds voting, Palpatine would be number 1. It's terrible. I can't hold it. Brainworms in the Clone Wars, 35%. I think that is one as well. That is
that you reminded me of a thing I wanted to mention about Palpatine and get your take, Ken. So I'm going to ask you this, and then I'll take my answer off air while I finish my work. Not really.
Finish your work.
The unlimited power is scary. In the face melting is definitely scary. Clearly, faces scary. In that whole sequence of Revenge of the Sith, the scariest part to me is once Anakin has bent the knee and Palpatine is standing above him, and he does the it's mixed with the tiger noises and roars. And there's just something so gross about it that he's just like, you will be a strong shit. He's so into it. It's almost like he can feel the waves of Darkseid coming. It's like he's huffing Darkseid. It's like Darkseid energy is coming off of Anakin, and he's like, good. That's the grossest, scariest part of Palpatine in that movie to me.
I agree. There's absolutely a pleasure aspect to it, and the idea of the mask finally able to come off.
Yeah.
The question of what's his real face, the politician or the Sith Lord? Is it Bruce Wayne or is it Batman? We can get that. We get it. But I think it's that moment for him. Whatever the answer is, doesn't matter. For him in this moment, he's like, finally. God, I've been waiting for this for so long. It was a long play game. And then, that's why, especially when, over the years, it's some dialogue moments to make fun of. I got it. I get it. It's Star Wars. I love having those moments. I was talking this past week, I think, while you were off, but talking with Jennifer about seeing Revenge of the Sith on the TV this weekend when I was at that wedding. We're just, all batteries, fire. Like it's such a silly, wonderful line. So henceforth becomes that. But I think over time, that's actually, I'm leaning in on more what you're thinking, where this is a frightening ghoul becoming who he always wanted to be, and it's unsettling, as Eric says.
Mm-hmm.
He's unsettling.
Yes, and Amaranth.
Huffing Dark Side, best band.
Amaranth says it's absolutely a pleasure thing. Skeevy Palps. Yeah.
Good old Skeevy Pops. Good old Skeevy Pops. All right. All right. You. I want to make sure you get to work. So
Yep.
Would it be easier if you go off camera?
No, I'm just proofreading.
Okay.
I'm the problem. It's me. Taylor Swift was right.
It's me. Yes. We got a lot of Chimere talk today of him being the deceiver. We got Quadface with this. Thank you for the super chat. I think you're referring to something specific, so I don't remember who now. He's more excited for Candy Wrecker or Omega. Oh, now how much does this annoy Crosshair? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wrecker would be good at Halloween. He'd be good at just sharing the candy. I think Wrecker. You go trick or treating with Wrecker, you're gonna all win. He's gonna dump it in the middle. He's gonna be excited about whatever you have, even the things you don't want. You don't want that sesame bar? Okay, like he's in. I'm really on about sesame bars today. I think that's it. Yeah, Wrecker might be who I want to hang out with on Halloween, especially for the candy.
Yeah,
especially for the candy. Good answer. Good stuff.
I think he would demand full-size candy bars for the kids.
James says, I do wish folks would stop blaming Jar Jar for accidentally ushering the Galactic Empire. Others may be more liable. Justice for Jar Jar. We agree with that here. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And to see, that epilogue of Jar Jar Binks in Aftermath, man, it's so sad because of that, where he's just kind of like, yeah, they all thought I did it, but it's just a more nuanced conversation. It's more complicated than that. Plus, I don't know. I got played by a Sith Lord. You know who else did? The Jedi. So
the entire galaxy. Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. So James, I agree with that. We got some calls lined up here. We're going to get to one here. If you're ready for a call or you still got to proofread, you proofread away, sir.
No, I proofread. I just need to say something about Jar Jar. I'm going to type it.
Okay.
No, I think Jar Jar has, especially in Phantom Menace, a lot of, pratfalls and whoopses and all that. But I think what's good about it, the moment in Attack the Clones, is it is well constructed to show that he's being so manipulated and he thinks he's doing a good thing. And I think that's the part of it that is so tragic, is he thinks he's doing a good thing. There's that moment where he thinks about it. Should I do something brave and daring the way Padme would? So cruel.
Yeah, it's cruel. It's all part of it. It's all part of the layers. Okay. Hold on. Switching subjects here. Eric's been great comments today, Eric, until this lie. Dooku loves candy corn. You know what? Then count me a Dooku fan, because candy corn remains my favorite seasonal candy. And I will take that waxy goodness if you all want to discard it. So if it's me and Dooku in sassy pajamas, that's going to be okay. It's a choice I'm going to have to live with.
I like the candy corn, and maybe it is just the power of suggestion, but I feel the very fake wax does have different flavors based on the colors. So I would like to see a scene where Dooku is sitting around in his elegant pajamas, exquisite pajamas, and he raises the candy corn with the Force, and then it splits into the tip, the middle, and the bottom. Yeah, and he decides which he wants to eat first.
I think this is great. This is wonderful.
All the bottoms go into its mouth.
I love that. All right, I got a call coming in. This is Ethan, a.k.a. Osvetnik, 1138. Ethan, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. It's good to be with you.
Good to have you here, my friend. What's your thoughts on the poll there? Where are you going? And then we'll hear your thoughts, too, on what you want to call about.
On the poll, I would say the "You Will Be" from Yoda.
See?
Yeah, that gets me. And then, actually, I wanted to bring up a little earlier in the stream, there was a comment from Alex Cameron Smith about the scene with Dr. Gorst in Andor, the torture. That might be the scariest thing in Star Wars.
That is a good, bad, but good answer.
Yeah.
I absolutely think so. It's terrified. It's terrified. You know, I don't want to see more of it, but I want to know a little bit more what that character, that thing, everything about it. I'm ready for more of that storyline.
Yeah, no, he was terrifying. Well portrayed.
Great, great thought, Ethan. What's your question today?
Actually, I didn't have a question. I had called in to talk about a specific moment in Empire.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
Alex's comment caught my attention. I just wanted to bring attention to it.
No, great comment. I missed it, but no. What's your Empire thoughts?
Okay, so the duel on Bespin. So like the whole thing is set up, the lighting, everything to make Vader very creepy. There's the moment where he kind of like glides like down the stairs and everything like that is, pretty creepy. But the part that actually, like as a kid, I remember in 97 or 98, whenever the special editions were in theaters, my parents took me. And I remember there's the moment Luke is walking down that little hallway after, having kicked Vader down into the little shaft or whatever. This is after him being thrown out the window and everything. And so he's walking down that hallway and everything's pretty quiet. And then all of a sudden the breathing kicks in and Vader just jumps out of nowhere and he's back with a vengeance and he just starts wailing on Luke. And I was just kind of beside myself, like wide-eyed, like wow. And I look back on it now and when I watch it, like I feel like that's the moment where Vader has been toying with Luke throughout the rest of it. Now he's like, you know what, like we're done, like I'm finishing this and getting to the point. And when Vader turns it on, it just it gets scary.
Yeah, from everything you're describing, the way it was shot, I think even some of the best Vader lines, some of the best James Earl Jones deliveries, which is saying a lot for someone as accomplished as him. But you are Jedi yet. Yeah, you were beat. It's just every syllable is a frightening bit of power coming from Vader. I love it. It remains one of the best for a reason, I think.
Yeah, I very much agree. It feels like he keeps kind of trying to sort of learn to show Luke that he can't win, and Luke keeps fighting back. And it is that moment of like, sit down, we're having a conversation.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you sit down because I got some things to tell you.
Yep. Yeah. Not that Vader was completely toying with him. I think there's some
testing.
There's a test, and also Luke pulls some stuff that, as we know, makes Vader think most impressive. So I think it was at the now it's like, all right, game over, man, game over.
Yeah.
And then it's really over when Luke nicks him in the shoulder. He's like, okay, he actually got a shot in. His hands are on now.
I gotta tell you, in terms of favorite little moments in Star Wars, that ranks high because he's so pissed. He's just so. And shout out to David Prowse or maybe it was Bob Anderson in that shot. I don't know, but just it's played so well. Of just like, God damn it. Just when you get a paper cut or something, you're like, not today, not today.
Yep,
love it.
Yep.
And just one last little thing, just from a sound design kind of perspective, when Vader jumps out, there at Luke, the breathing is just faster, more intense.
Yeah.
And like it just, I don't know, like, and also Vader just looks tallest, I think, in that one shot when we're looking down the hall, and Luke just looks so much smaller than Vader as he is, bringing the saber down on him.
Absolutely. No secret how you shoot those things is going to help tell the story, but it's a pro wrestling trick. Everyone over 6'5" is shot with the camera looking up at him, just to add that aura of size and dominance and power. I think that's what's going on there in so many wonderful ways.
Yeah.
Shot
One of
so
the
well.
reasons I think Empire is for me like one of the best made of the Star Wars films is all those details are there.
Agreed.
Yep. It's earned its place. Ethan, great calls. I do have to ask you though, Osvetnik 1138. I get the 1138. Osvetnik, how close am I? How close are we? And what's the name?
Okay, so give me a second. The dogs are freaking out. My wife is walking in the door.
Trust me.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So, okay, the story on Osvetnik. So, I spent a couple of years living in Croatia. Part of that time was during the lead up to the Avengers coming out in 2012.
Oh.
And all the posters at that, that were around were obviously in Croatian, and the Croatian word for the Avengers is Osvetnici, plural. And so I've, just made it singular, Osvetnik. So Avenger 1138.
That's really cool.
I love it. I love a good username story. That's great.
Yeah. So there you go.
There you go, Ethan. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. And say hi to those doggies. There you go. Love that. Yeah. Love that. Oh, David, I saw Empire at Cinema first time a month ago. It was really impressive seeing it on the big screen. Yeah, it's easy to take for granted that not everyone. It's the whole see it again for the first time. From the special editions.
No, yeah, they read different on the big screen, and Vader is even more imposing. And when that breathing is, filling the stadium.
Yeah. James brings that up as well. This call is such a great point. Haven't seen the originals on the big screen, but the Vader quarter scene in Rogue One and cinema was chilling. Yeah, just look. And I always want to make clear, I love that moment. I geek out about that moment. It is badass Vader. I think badass Vader has been appropriated by certain circles in the Star Wars fandom and propped up as a thing to be versus just a part of Star Wars to appreciate. And so that's why I sometimes drill down hard on that scene having more meaning than just Vader being a badass. But let's also not lie. It's a badass Vader moment, and it's chilling. And that Vader, that lightsaber coming out in that dark hallway, it's still a chill-inducing moment for a lot of different reasons that we can celebrate. And I think it is a Halloween moment indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've talked a ton about the meaning of that. Of he has all this power and this chain of people working together still defeat him, and that whole just sort of baton. That's the whole story of Rogue One, of passing the hope, and making it literal. All that stuff is great. But I remember back then, and we talked about it in the lead up of just like, but here is an opportunity to show Vader at his height, full power. And I remember sitting in that theater the first time feeling like, are we not going to see Vader? I was wrapped up in like when Tarkin was like, board the ship. That's not Tarkin's line, but I was like, yes, please. And I could feel like the movie's almost over. Come on, where is it? And then the light goes dark and the blade goes on. And the woman in front of me yells out, "Oh, S word!" Full volume. And I was like, "Thank you for speaking my thoughts," because that's what it's like. Yes. I think there's nothing wrong with enjoying it. It's the same thing of enjoying watching Michael Myers walk down the street and murder everybody. It's not a validation of the action. It's a safe space to play with. What does darkness really look like?
I really hope to God that was her actual quote, because you saw Rogue One in Salt Lake City. And that's just what she was going to yell out. Oh, S word. But
no, it echoed through the Cinerama Dome here in Hollywood.
It just hit the top of the dome and just came down. I love that.
S word.
You're hanging out here on a live ForceCenter. We also release this later on as a podcast. Thanks to those who listen to the podcast. I want to highlight too, especially for those who maybe only watch on YouTube or which we appreciate as we try to build out the YouTube channel. But we have we're in the middle. We're about 40 episodes into our Databank Brawl Revisited series. So it's podcast only, and every Sunday, unless it's a Sunday where I'm traveling and I forgot and I have to do it the next week. It's only happened like twice. We re-release Databank Brawls in order, in chronological order. There's like 162. We're up to like 40, 41. It's been a lot of fun for me to just go back and listen to find the commercial spots. I have to wait for the let's fight moment from you, and then I drop the commercial moment. But just to revisit some of the guests that used to come through, all that stuff, and a lot of folks, early ForceCenter listeners had a lot of fun with Databank Brawl. Maybe one day we'll do a special one-off or a series and bring it back, but check it out on the podcast feed as well. So I got brought up in Discord recently too, so
that's
people enjoy
awesome.
that.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, cool. We have another call lined up if you want to go to call.
Yeah.
What do you want to do, sir?
A call is great. My paperwork has been sent, and now I wait in anticipation for the response.
There you go. Amaranth says the brawls are a fun glimpse into ForceCenter's past. Yeah, especially when we used to say S word more. Slightly more.
I used to be such a potty mouth all the time, and then you came from a broadcasting background.
Yeah, yeah.
And I realized, like, oh, I can work around it. I used to always.
Yeah, it's fascinating because I actually was having this discussion off air with our buddy Alden, and Eli's on the phone. We'll get to Eli in a second. Hang tight, Eli.
Sorry.
Talking with our buddy Alden off air, where a lot of that kind of view of it comes from things like the Hays Code and the Comics Code and all these things, and it's kind of just it's bull roar. There you say, and it's just fascinating how that's become the culture. If I dare said a swear word, my mom heard it, it was the end of the world. Like, so it's fascinating, but I still have that. Like, we could be clean for general broadcasts. So I'm stuck with it.
And we've met a couple people at a celebration that who are like, I listen in the car with my 8-year-old. I'm like,
yeah. But that's us. That's our swear word journey here on ForceCenter. Eli, welcome to the show. What's your most scary Star Wars moment? What's your question?
Yeah. Hey guys. I was first of all, I will just say, for the poll, I am going to firmly cast my vote for the brainworms. 100%.
Okay.
I've gone through Clone Wars many times. I have never watched Brain and Vader set episode all the way through. I've never done it.
Really?
I can't, like, the slithering thing I just can't.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen every other, and like, I know generally what happens, but like, even like, I remember I was doing a rewatch, I think it's actually for my show a few years ago when we were going through Clone Wars, and I basically had my co-host just like explain like the plot and what happened and what his thoughts were, because I just could not. I just could not do the brainworms.
Is it the slippery, slimy thing that you don't know is there, or is it the entering of the nose?
It's a combination of the slippery, slimy thing, and also that it kind of controls your thoughts. Like that is like, and your controls your body and that kind of stuff. Like it is. Yeah. That just freaks me the hell out.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Eli, you're making me think of something too. One of the little Kenny is scared moments from the 80s is the Star Trek film. Joseph, you might help me remember which one, 2 or 3.
Wrath of Khan. Wrath of Khan.
Right,
yes.
where the things go in Chekhov's
ears.
Yeah,
it's real gross. Yeah, they go in lots of people's ears. Yep.
Nope. Anyways, Eli, good share there. What's your thought? What's your question?
I was gonna say my favorite scary moment that I'd like to bring up, and I don't know if this has been mentioned before, so apologies if it has. The end of day, the Acolyte episode, the end of day, Chimera floating down, well, the stranger floating down.
Yes.
Just creepy and sort of extending into night. The massacre of the Jedi, like absolutely horrifying. Either that or Twitter on September 21st, 2022, which is the day that the first 3 episodes of Andor came out. That was a horrifying place to be.
Eli with a win from downtown. Yeah, that's the truth. The Chimera moment got mentioned earlier in the show, but Eli, here's I have to admit, it's not a for me. It's I get that it might be scary. I get that it's chilling. It's effective. It's very effective. It's one of my favorite shots in the series. But from my pro wrestling background, I'm like, what an entrance! That's a WrestleMania entrance right there.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
It's impressive, and it's like I was amazed by. I think it was especially because like you, the end of the episode, you see, he comes down you see the Jedi all form up in that like group lightsaber shot, and they're all pushed back, and then in the middle of the shot, it cuts to the credits.
Yeah.
And we were left waiting for a week. What happened to all of those Jedi?
Yep. Turns out nothing good.
I think the build up from May's switch of like, he's not here, he can't, that psychological, when we as horror people always talk about watching horror movies because they like to be scared, and I think that's true. But I also have an opinion that sometimes people like watching horror movies because we actually have more control than the characters we're watching, because we often know something they don't. And I think that's part of what made the Stranger's appearance so effective, is because May's going, oh, he's not here, I can get away with stuff. And we're all being like, he's totally here, and you're going to die.
Think that, yeah, sure, think that. Think that he's not here. He's here.
Yeah.
He always knows. They always know.
You're talking to him, and we all know it. Why can't you see it?
I actually do have a question for both of you, which I was just thinking about, because obviously one of the main hallmarks of Halloween is people dressing up in costumes and stuff like in cosplay. I was just thinking, like, in the last year, we can extend it back to Ahsoka, which I know was a little bit more than a year ago, but like close enough. I'm wondering what new characters you both think that we will see the most cosplays or costumes of, or the kind of variation on that question, which is, what do you want to see? What like are there any like characters that have been introduced the last year that you want to see costumes of? I was thinking, I think Chimera is actually one of the ones that we'll see quite a bit, just because mask and all that kind of stuff. I was trying to think of other ones.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some early adapters of was it Neil from Skeleton Crew? I think we're going to get some early. Yeah, we're going to get some of those. The people who are like freeze frame one shot and they're like, got it, I'm going to go build my own costume now because they're experts at it. I think that would work. That'd be one I'd see. Yeah, the Acolyte's going to have a lot. I wish there were more parents, just because it's that ironic, douchebag costume to be blind. We're just like, yeah, you're being that a-hole parent.
Yeah, I think we actually will see some May and Osha, because I think their costumes were distinctive, and I think people want to show the people who did really enjoy the Acolyte, I think, want to be able to show their love. And the Jedi were cool, but other than like the distinctive sort of things on his hands that Soul had, most of the Jedi were like, yeah, they're Jedi robes. So I think you get more mileage Halloween time out of anybody who's distinctive. So I think May and Osha are distinctive in their costumes.
I just one just came to my mind. I was going through the characters of the Acolyte, and I'm like, which ones, like, other than like the standard, because a lot of them are just like standard Jedi robes and stuff like that. But then I realized, oh my god. Actually, I just saw like a response put up the Peridium Mothers as an option, which is cool. In that same vein, I want to see the little girls who dress up as Anastasia.
Oh yeah, and all the Basils, all the
Basils.
Do you know the old Ben Cooper masks? Ben Cooper was the Halloween company, and they made sort of plastic, not very safe masks of all pop culture stuff, but they had real famous Star Wars ones. It would be great if they had like cheap Ben Cooper Basil masks.
Basil is another option, yeah.
And Basil is another option.
I was like, and thinking about, I don't know why I just forgot about Basil, but yeah, Basil is, I think Basil would be up there with Chimera, honestly.
Absolutely. I think, you're looking at, and going back to the Ahsoka of it all, I think, I don't dress up. I'm a ball humbug on costumes, but if I had to, I'm going to a Halloween party next week, and if they were like, you have to dress up, Balin's skull might be an easy pull. I think I just finished the white on my beard, put on a comfortable robe. I'm Balin's skull. And just stare off into the distance.
And when people ask you, what are you looking at? You go, beats me.
Space whales, Star whales. Eli, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Continue doing the work over. You're over at Star Wars in a Galaxy, right?
Indeed. Thanks, Ken.
You got it. Check it out. Everyone check out Star Wars in a Galaxy. Eli's wonderful. Hanging out with us. 898 4M says, do it, Ken. Yeah, Brady, calm down over there. All right, calm down. Calm down.
In Gray should be Shin Hati.
That's about the dynamic. Yeah, that's about the dynamic. Love that there. We got another call lined up here shortly here. You guys doing great. If you guys, we're going to be on air for about another, I don't know, what are we saying, Joseph, about 25 minutes?
I think 20 minutes and then I should bounce, yeah.
Yeah, and I got to get going to a birthday dinner. So if you got a question, a super chat, super thanks, you got to call, get on in here. It would be a lot of fun to hear from you all here in the time we have left. All right, 898-4M, calm down. All right, calm down. All right. We got a call lined up from our buddy Brennan Mystical Mar, a former Star Wars trivia champion.
Hello.
Brennan, how are you doing, buddy?
Good. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear, my friend.
Joseph, good to see you.
Good to see you, Brennan.
You know, it was interesting. When I went to FanX in Salt Lake last year, I actually dressed up as one of those Imperial transports. The ground transports.
The ground, like the figure transports, the old Kenners?
Yeah.
Oh, Brennan, you got photos of that?
I do.
You got to post that in the Discord. That's amazing.
Yeah, please do.
Well, it's really fun to try to make the wheelchair part of the Star Wars costume.
How did you go about building that? You just add things to it. Just build it. Was it a wood facade? What was this? I'm fascinated by this.
Well, my dad is good at building like. It wasn't. I'm not exactly sure what it was made out of.
That's awesome.
It was sort of a wood board kind of thing.
Hey, look, you don't
really know, but
you don't need to worry about the magic. You just need to wear the magic.
Yeah,
but it was really fun to do that.
Some plywood, maybe. Yeah.
So that's a fun way to get involved in.
Yeah.
Star Wars
absolutely.
So if Brennan, I'll toss the question back to you. If you're going to dress up again, you might have that. If you use this costume for every Halloween you participate in, I understand because your dad probably put a ton of work in it. But if you're like, hey, I'm going to branch out, are there any other ships you'd want to go as?
I mean, a TIE fighter, though, it would be kind of hard to get through doorways. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I love that.
No, I could think of a few things.
Oh, there's a lot of options if you want to.
But yeah. So I just thought I would share that.
I love that.
That's
I could see you going as a Razor Crest.
Oh,
the one
yes.
that's in all pieces.
As long as I don't get blown up.
Yes.
But Brendan, what's on your mind tonight in terms of questions and your spookiest Star Wars moment? I'll check on the poll while we're getting your answer.
Well, that's really it. I just wanted to come in, say happy Halloween.
Thank you, my friend.
Enjoy your Star Wars Halloween or otherwise.
Yeah,
Halloween or otherwise. We will indeed. Thank you for checking in, Brennan. Good to see you last month, right, at the LA Zoo. A lot of fun to check in with you.
Oh, yeah. That was fun.
See you, Brennan. Brennan Mystical Mar, check out his podcast, Page Turners They Were Not, as he dives into Star Wars over there. There you go. A lot of people celebrating figures in the chat here. We don't cover the figure news as much, Joseph. We try to pull the news apart a bit, where we're not worried about tiny little things. But a lot of Skeleton Crew figure news this week. You having an eye on that? I know you've been busy, but any thoughts on the Skeleton Crew?
Well, I saw it come across and saw the I follow Galactic Figures, formerly Jedi Business, that we used for all of those Star Wars Ranked, where we talked about the different action figure lines. And I don't know any of the people there, but the person who I believe runs it always has good news and I think interesting takes. And he was reporting that the Skeleton Crew figures were actually going to be out for, get this, the show.
The show? Oh.
Yeah, in seeing John Nawood, that name, because I know there's been ups and downs about, like, is that going to be his real name, or is that a fake name, or is that only one of his many names? Like, well, it might be one of his many names, but it's on an action figure. Right. And I do want to buy an action figure that says John Nawood, so extremely excited about that. That reminded me, if you're okay with it,
Yeah.
I would like to do an unboxing before we're done.
Oh, I'd love for you to do an unboxing. Let's absolutely do an unboxing. Which actually, now that you think about it, who sent it, I got the last live show. We got we had one of our listeners, Aria, talking about making you a cloth, like crocheting a Cthulhu.
Oh
And
yeah,
I have it. It got sent to me.
oh,
So I gotta
amazing.
get it to you. I gotta get it to you.
Yes, I will take it as a good luck,
Yeah.
a good luck horror charm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. So this figure I mentioned on one of the shows recently, it's been with me for almost 2 Halloweens. It's one of the Halloween figures that arrived in 2022, like November 2nd. So I was like, annoying. And then I was going to open it for Halloween spooky times in 2023, but the strike was still going on.
Yeah.
And I wasn't posting pictures of anything Star Wars related. So now I promised myself I would open it this Halloween, and then I almost forgot. So this seems like a perfect time. It is this spooky, glow-in-the-dark skeleton clone trooper with this little porg. Has sort of Bela Lugosi Dracula outfit painted on the little porg body.
I love that.
And this is in this
and
brief
we're gonna
window.
unbox it. We're gonna unbox it. Here we go.
We're unboxing it live. I got a knife and everything.
ForceCenter. Henceforth, we will be an unboxing channel. While you're doing that, Lack of Response. Hey, Lack of Response says, I wonder if Jod is the Peter Pan of the crew of Lost Children, recruited them in his War on the Pirates. I think that's a good guess. We talked a lot this week on the news show, Joseph, of the not just pirate imagery and themes, but a lot of Peter Pan stuff going on. So could be fascinating.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Oh, my gosh.
A lot of people, shocked and supportive of you unboxing here. This is where Ken Plume. We're missing Ken Plume, who would be devastated to know that you're on his side now, opening up toys.
Well, here's my thing: is like I don't mind opening. I never mind opening the Black Series as much because you just cut the tape and you put it back in. What
right,
hurts my soul is ripping apart.
I agree.
The vintage collection, and I don't care about the value. I care about the art,
the aesthetic. Yeah,
the aesthetic. This is really disturbing. This is how the action figure comes.
Oh, that's freaky.
Wrapped like a mummy in a
like
Halloween themed.
His head's covered.
His head's covered in everything. Like they're gonna just shoot a flaming arrow to him and give him a Viking funeral. He's all wrapped and ready to go. The paper has Minoc on it, Ghost Hut. I'm always bad at this.
And a spider of some sort.
And an ice spider, I would imagine. And then just a random skull. Just a generic skull.
Just a skull. Yeah, I agree with John Webster. Our buddy John Webster saying that's slightly horrifying. It's very horrifying.
It's far more horrifying than the action figure itself, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's just, it looks, All right. If you're just tuning in, Joseph Scrimshaw's unboxing a Star Wars action figure. It's a Halloween one, and he's going to decorate the house. Amaranth cuts up vintage cards and prop them up behind my figures. Oh, okay. That can work. Yeah, okay. Joseph just unsealed the curse.
Should I unwrap the mummy?
Oh my God!
Should I do it?
Yeah, that looks freaky. It's like a body bag. What is this?
Here, I'll hold up. You can see the ghost hut there.
The ghost hut is great.
Ooh. Okay, but there's no tape or anything. He just rolls out like a salami.
You're getting some good ASMR crinkles. I'm falling asleep already.
Oh yeah, spooky crinkle. And and there he is. I love these action figures that when you first pull them out, their posture is so rigid and stiff. Looks like he was caught in the middle of doing Pee Wee Herman's dance.
Yeah. It's not unlike anything Thrawn would have in his, something Thrawn would have in his army.
Yeah. Oh, and there's no blaster or anything, so I guess he's just trick or treating. He lost his blaster.
Laserbolt says, "Looks like a stormtrooper is going to trick or treat. Who's going trick or treating before he beats up the Karate Kid."
Yep.
But, yeah, Amaranth says, "So glad I didn't miss this. Yeah, you're here for this. This is great."
Yeah, and let's see how he
Where's
does
that
on the
pork?
standing. Oh my! Oh, and his feet. Look at his feet. Oh my God, he
Damn
needs
his
some
feet.
reconstructive ankle surgery.
He looks like there was a wrestler years ago called La Parka, luchador. He looks like La Parka. Shout out to my '90s wrestling fans.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the Black Series figures, I love them, but their joints are very stiff, and you always feel like you're going to break them adjusting them so they can just stand.
You know what's funny? I said, yeah, the only one I have out of the box is Kylo Ren. Oh no, I have Infus Nest and Rey on Speeder. Okay.
Okay. Oh, he stands. You can just barely see it, but he's standing on my computer now. And he's glow in the dark.
It's glow in the dark? Okay.
Yeah, let's see how dark I can get my space. And see if we can see the glow live on camera. So that light goes out. And this, the stupid sun. I can't turn the sun out.
Stupid sun. If only Mr. Burns was here to block out the sun.
Yeah.
Now I got rickets.
Not going to be able to reveal that, but I will be able to unwrap the porg from its shroud.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
Oh, 10 ASMR.
Oh my God, those are great crinkles. I'm gonna start drooling like Homer Simpson. ForceCenter finally.
Oh no, there's a bunch of weird crap in here. He does have a blaster. I thought
it's more than just the porg. Is the blaster decorated?
I don't think he. He's got a crate. Is his blaster in the crate? What is in the crate? I can't even make it out. So yeah, he's got this little crate.
He's got but it's like a Halloween crate. It's not like a Imperial crate.
And
what's in there?
In it? What is in there?
What's in there? Just
who has good eyesight?
Bounty? I don't know about that.
And then he's what? There must be something to this that I don't remember. Anyway, he's got.
Where's the porg?
He also comes with apparently little. I don't know if these are supposed to be credits or candy bars.
I really hope it's a Star Wars candy bar.
Yeah. All right. And here comes the porg.
Here comes the porg. Here comes the porg. Is he got a little tuxedo on? What's he got?
Yeah, he's got he's got a little, a greenish face, and you can see the edge of his wings. Sorry for my giant fingernails. Are red, much like the interior of my cape.
Yeah.
And then here's the back of the porg.
Pork butt. There's that pork butt.
There's that pork butt we've been hearing so much about.
Roasted pork butt.
There we go. There's the best view of him.
There you go. He looks fantastic. He looks like he's in Clue. Looks like he's hosting a bunch of people at a murder dinner.
So his head is really cranked to one side. So
that's amazing.
Greetings, Mr.
That was the highlight of the day.
Yep. Oh, and you know what? My other porg has feet. This porg has no feet and just sits solidly on the ground.
That's the key to life. Just put your feet on the ground like a good porg. Good porg. Where now you going to display that? Is this count as Halloween decorations?
Oh yeah, this will be my Halloween decorations for the season. Maybe he'll have to bump.
That's it. This is it. This is the one.
I got that and a weird squirrel. I got a Halloween squirrel and a Christmas squirrel, and they swap out on Thanksgiving Day. But yeah, this guy, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. Sometimes I like looking at an action figure going, they got me. They got me. They just repainted this, and I like it because it's dumb. I look at that figure and say, I got ripped off, and it makes me even happier.
You fell for it, but in a good way.
Fell for it.
You fell for the joy of the season. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Do you have any of the Christmas season ones, the holiday ones there? Or, no?
Nah.
Yeah.
I get tempted by all of these because they're so weird and dumb. Yeah. But this is the one that's like, I love the clone trooper. I love the skeleton look. And then I was like, I shouldn't. And then I saw the vampire porg and like, bam.
You got to get the vampire porg. You got to do that. You got to. Now you got to. What you got to do is you take your other unopened figures, sit them around a little table, and then have the porg host the dinner. And just take photos of it.
Thank
Love
you.
Oh.
You know, I've been waiting to open this for 2 years. So as Sheev Palpatine once said,
henceforth. I love that, and we are starting to round down to the end of the show. A lot of fun. Thank you all for hanging with us, not just today, but on the show as we get ready for Skeleton Crew. We'll have a live show. I know we got the Thanksgiving holiday to contend with, and Joseph making a movie in November, but we'll have our next show probably be a preview of Skeleton Crew, or at least a get hyped for Skeleton Crew, which I am hyped. I was already hyped. And then Joseph, some great pictures came out this week, and some of it seems to be connected to Thrawn. And I don't even like. I'm not like a big connections. I don't need connections and everything. But I was like, oh, I like that connection. I'm interested. So the hype is growing.
We've been talking about this for a while. That there might be some element to it. That it is more than just the timeline of the New Republic Mandalorian era. That it might have more connective tissue.
Yeah. Yeah. So it just might be that. So stay tuned for that. We got news, we got questions, we got subjective wars, we've got other things coming, but it's always good to hang out with all of you here on this live show. I apologize for the technical stuff at the end, or the beginning of the show. What can I do? My laptop didn't want to work, but you all hung through. Joseph held court. We had a good show. We'll see you next time. For that porg, we're out of here. Bye.